Hello, moviegoers, and welcome to another edition of Have You Seen It? I'm your host, Denise, and before I get into my review for this week, I've got to tell you who my favorite actor is. My favorite actor this week is Delroy Lindo. Now, let me tell you something, folks. If you've been asleep at the wheel and don't know who this man is, or the first time you've heard of him is from the movie Sinners, you need to check out his resume. Malcolm X, The Five Brothers, Crooklyn, and the Hulu series Unprisoned are just a few of the movies and television roles that display Delroy Lindo and his incredible talent. So we won't get into the BAFTA nonsense that you've probably heard about on social media, on television, whatever. We're going to focus on the fact that this gentleman has been nominated for an Academy Award for his role in the movie Sinners. So Delroy Lindo is my favorite actor this week. You need to check out his work, folks. All right, I'm going to jump into my review, and my review comes from Netflix, and it stars Kevin Bacon and his wife, Kyra Sedgwick, and Judd Hirsch, and Ray Romano has a small role in this movie as well. This movie was so refreshing to watch. I wasn't quite sure what, I was going to witness when I saw this movie, but this is the first time I've seen Kevin Bacon and Kyra Sedgwick work together in a film. I believe they've done it previously many years ago, but I think this is the first time they have been on screen together in a long time. And Kevin Bacon is one of my favorite actors as well. So this movie takes place in New York City, and it involves a husband and wife played by Kyra Sedgwick and Judd Hirsch, and Stan, who's played by Kevin Bacon. He is a security guard for the neighborhood where Kyra Sedgwick's character and her husband reside. Now, there's quite an age difference between the husband and wife. Kyra Sedgwick's age is, let's say, 60, and her husband is in his 80s. So in this film, you see a relationship or friendship develop between Kyra Sedgwick's character, her name is Cynthia in the movie, and Stan, played by Kevin Bacon. And it starts with a thwarted robbery attempt at the home of the married couple. And so this happens because the older gentleman is dealing with some memory issues, and we're going to say that there's some dementia setting in, and he basically forgot to set the alarm. Okay, and so the security guard is called to the house, and he comes and kind of takes care of everything. But in doing so, he has to, and I thought this was very strange, he had to use the bathroom really bad, and he does so. And as a result of that, Cynthia realizes that this man may have an issue going on. And so she is a urologist, and she, kindly tells Stan, you know what, if you've got some issues, come see me. I'm a urologist. I may be able to help you. So that's kind of how they meet formally and how their friendship begins. And so she's a urologist, got a quirky little, fun little personality. Stan is just trying to live each day the best he can. He's got a fractured relationship with his daughter that needs repair. And so aside from the security hustle and dealing with his own personal issues, he's doing the best he can each day. Well, it turns out that his medical issue, is a little bit more involved than what he thought. And as a urologist, Cynthia finds out that we might have some prostate issues going on. And so she deals with that. He deals with that. And she helps him work through that through medication and just kind of monitoring. And so their relationship continues to grow, very harmless, just through, they're texting each other, just, checking in on each other, how you doing, that sort of thing. So there's nothing, terribly wrong going on between them. Meanwhile, the elderly husband is a writer and is interested in writing a book. Many years ago, he was working for he was a presidential administrator during the Nixon era. And so he wants to write a book, but as he's reflecting on that, he's not reflecting in the present and speaking about the past. As he's trying to write this book, he is speaking as if it's still the 1970s. Okay, so that's where his dementia is. So you've got a woman who is a doctor, and she's got a hectic schedule. She has an ailing husband of whom which she loves dearly, and she's now a caretaker, but she still has a life that is somewhat unfulfilled in some instances. So Stan is that, she gets that break from her husband by interacting with Stan in a quite friendly, innocent way. Well, fast forward, the husband's daughter believes that he needs to be closer to his family, and so he needs to find new residents in a aging facility, if you will, a nursing facility for his condition, but she wants him to be near family. So then you've got a little headbutting going on between stepdaughter and wife. It's like, I'm his wife, I make these decisions, and then you've got a daughter who's bossy and, no, he's my dad, he needs to be with us. And so that situation changes the dynamic between doctor and patient, because she becomes frazzled in that instance of, what am I going to do with my husband? And she kind of leans on Stan for just, I'm just venting, let's letting you know what's going on. And so he comes to her aid in a very supportive way, a way in which she was not expecting. And so things kind of change between them. And so I'm going to leave that part there so that you can see it for yourself, to see how the friendship between doctor and patient was just that. We're just friends, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying this. I don't want to do anything more than just be your friend. But because the dynamic changed slightly due to a specific incident, things change. And so I enjoyed this movie. And I'm not going to tell you how it ends, with that relationship and with her relationship with her husband. You're going to have to watch to find out. But I thought it was just refreshing. You know, you sometimes you need a break from the car chases and the gunplay and the blood and the gore, and this is just a nice film. It was 2 hours, maybe a tad bit long, but I didn't feel it. So it's a nice movie to watch with your spouse. If you are a caretaker, you know, a caregiver, it's a great movie to watch. If you are a man who's dealing with some prostate issues and, you know, maybe you've been putting off going to the doctor or whatever, you know, this film is for you. Or if you're just a couple who, you know, you have that dynamic. You have an older spouse, a younger spouse. At some point, somebody's going to get really, really old and really change the dynamic of the relationship. Are you in that situation? How you deal with it? So that is my review, The Best You Can on Netflix. All right, folks, I'm going to jump into my Nailed It. And my Nailed It this week is from the movie If Beale Street Could Talk. And this is the movie that Regina King won her Academy Award, and well deserved. The scene that really, really was fire was the scene where the young girl who is pregnant by her boyfriend calls both families together to give them this news. And once she drops that bomb on the mother, played brilliantly by Anjanou Ellis, who is a Christian through and through, her reaction, and then Regina King as the mother of this young woman, their dynamic was just so intense. And then you had the other family members, sisters on both sides, going at it in this little apartment living room. It was pure fire, and I loved every minute of it. So if you haven't seen If Beale Street Could Talk, or if you just want to see that scene, just Google it and you can watch it at your leisure. Terrific acting. All right, folks. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And remember, I am available on BlueSky at HYSI. All right, moviegoers, you know what to do. Until next week, I need you to see a movie because I'm going to see a movie. Until next week, bye-bye.